I told my submissive husband that he had to do as I say or there would be no intimacy, and he chose to ruin the marriage. I should tell you how everything fell apart, even though, honestly, it's totally not my fault. I'm Rebecca, 29, and I'm literally the best thing that ever happened to my soon-to-be ex-husband. Like the absolute best. But some people just don't know how to appreciate a good thing when they have it. It all started 2 years ago at Burton and Shaw Marketing when this total sweetheart walked into our department. Braden, 31, looked like a lost puppy with his pressed khakis and actually ironed dress shirt. The kind of guy who probably sorted his socks by color and still said, "Excuse me," when sneezing. A rare breed. At first, I thought he was cute in that nerdy, I was picked last in gym class kind of way. He was kind, soft-spoken, and absolutely obsessed with making me happy. Full-on worship the ground I walk on kind of devoted. Every morning, my coffee was already on my desk with the perfect ratio of sugar to cream. Every bad day, he magically showed up with takeout from my favorite Thai place. Every little inconvenience I faced, he was ready to fix it before I even had to ask. At first, it was adorable. So naturally, when he finally mustered the courage to ask me out, I figured, why not? He was sweet, stable, and let's be real, guys like him don't just up and leave. So I gave it a shot, and before I knew it, we were engaged. That's when the real problems started. Braden was a yes, dear kind of husband. The kind that let me pick the furniture, the house, the wedding theme, even the car we bought. He had opinions, sort of, but they never really mattered because in the end he'd always say, "Whatever makes you happy, babe." That's the dream, right? A man who listens, supports, and never argues? Wrong. Turns out, having a husband who never pushes back, never challenges you, and just exists to serve gets boring really fast. And maybe it's bad, but I started testing him. Little things. "Braden, I don't think you should go to poker night with your friends. Just stay home with me." Boom, he'd cancel without hesitation. "Braden, I don't like how that girl at work laughs at your jokes. Maybe stop talking to her." He ghosted her the next day. It was almost too easy, like playing a game on the lowest difficulty setting. So I pushed further. I started controlling everything, what he wore, what he ate, how he spent his free time. And he just took it. Every single time. Then one night it hit me. If I could control all that, why not the ultimate test? "Braden," I said casually over dinner, "I think we should make intimacy a reward system. You do what I say, you get rewarded. If you don't, well." I shrugged, and that was that. He laughed at first, like he thought I was joking. But when I didn't crack a smile, his face went blank. "You're serious?" he asked. "Completely," I replied, sipping my wine. "It's just an incentive, babe. If you're good to me, you get good things in return." I expected him to just nod, agree, and move on like he always did. But instead, he set his fork down, wiped his mouth, and said, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." I swear my jaw hit the table. He had never, not once, spoken to me like that before. My first instinct was to fight back, to tell him he was being ungrateful, that it was just a way to make our marriage work better. But he just shook his head, stood up, and left the table. No fight, no yelling. Just walked away. And suddenly, the guy who used to revolve his entire existence around me was sleeping on the couch, coming home later, going to the gym instead of spending time with me. He stopped asking if I needed anything, stopped texting me all day, and worst of all, he stopped looking at me the way he used to. Like I was his entire world. I should have been scared, but I was too stubborn to admit I'd pushed too far. I told myself he'd snap out of it, that he'd realize he couldn't function without me. But then he did something I never expected. He started acting like a man. One night, I came home late from a girl's night out, expecting to see him asleep on the couch like always. Instead, he was packing a bag. I laughed, assuming it was some dramatic stunt, but he just zipped it up, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "I'm done, Rebecca." That's when it hit me. He wasn't bluffing. "You're leaving? Over what?" "A dumb argument." I scoffed. But he just shook his head. "No. I'm leaving because I finally realized I deserve better than being treated like some lapdog you can control." And just like that, he walked out the door. No tears, no begging. Just gone. Now, a month later, I'm sitting in the apartment we picked together, alone, staring at a text that reads, "Just letting you know I'll be finalizing the divorce next week. Hope you find whatever it is you're looking for." For the first time in my life, I don't feel in control. I feel lost. Because I thought I had all the power in this marriage. Turns out the real power was his, when he decided to walk away.